Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Another day, another deadly shooting in San Antonio. Just ahead, what led up to this latest shooting and the search for the suspects that is still ongoing.
And Mike Pence starts his first day as a 2024 presidential candidate by taking on Donald Trump. Up next, the main issues that are putting Pence at odds with the former president.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it is 73 degrees already and it's only 4:30. We're going to be checking in with Mike to learn how hot today will get. Good morning, San Antonio. It's Thursday, June 8th. We've made it almost to the end of the week.
Yes, it's Friday Junior.
Friday Junior.
Yes.
I like that, and I'll take it. Now, I know you were on a walk yesterday. How was that heat holding up?
Well, I guess the trick was going early. We went right after GMSA, so about, 7-ish, and so it was a little humid, but tolerable.
Yep, let's check in with Mike. Mike, how is the humidity and the heat going to be holding up today for us?
Well, it's going to be hot. We'll be up to a normal high temperature. Humidity, yeah, that's a different story. You get that sun. We were out yesterday afternoon, and that little bit of sun, it's like, ooh, boy, it's getting pretty humid. But this morning, we are looking at some thunderstorms, and if you can see in this picture, I'm going to step back, and I'm just going to wait for 1 second. And this is way off in the distance. There are flashes of lightning. The director just got in my ear a couple of moments ago. He goes, is that lightning in the background there? Of course, it's not going to happen when I want it to right there. There we go. And those storms are well up there to the north in Gillespie County. Now, first of all, we have some of these leftovers down there to the south, but take a look. This cell is holding together up there, and it's packing a punch, obviously, with a big light show. I mean, think of as the crow flies, how far that is, but that's how high those storms are, and we can see the lightning with that. Plus, they're dumping rain at the rate of about 6 to 7 inches per hour. Let me go back to that picture, and you can see that this is moving down, primarily down to the southeast. So as of right now, it's sort of making a beeline right there toward Canyon Lake, going to continue to move through Fredericksburg and some of our northern counties. This may start to fall apart. Yesterday, we had some of those thunderstorm cells out there, and as the morning rolled on, they started to weaken a little bit, but obviously going to keep a close eye on that. Mold is on the moderate side, and later on today, we are going to see more showers and thunderstorms popping up, and there is the risk for some of those to be severe. We've got a fairly volatile atmosphere with all this humidity hanging around here, so high wind and large hail are going to be the biggest threats. And again, this is late this afternoon going into dinner time. Most of the area is under that threat. We will have some of the leftover showers around this morning. We see sort of a break in the action, kind of like yesterday, and then by noon, another shower is going to pop up here and there, and then a few of those scattered showers and thunderstorms. 92 high temperature. It's going to be getting hotter, and then it's going to be getting even hotter. Details on that and a look at the weekend coming up in just a couple of minutes. Steph, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mike. New this morning, 2 suspects that shot and killed a man on San Antonio's west side late last night are still on the loose this morning. San Antonio police say a man was taken to the hospital in critical condition after he was shot during an argument. The shooting happened just before 9 last night in the 1800 block of West Laurel Street. That's near Calaveras, North Calaveras and North Zarzamora Street. Now, witnesses told police the man was arguing with 2 people in the street when someone pulled out a gun and shot the man in the chest. San Antonio police say the man died while being taken to the hospital. No arrests have been made.
Will Governor Greg Abbott get any legislation out of this special session? That is still a question now that the Texas Senate has passed its own immigration bills. The Texas Tribune reports just one of 3 bills was related to the governor's special session priority list, the anti-smuggling bill. However, the House passed a different version last week, then adjourned. That means unless the House reconvenes and both chambers can come to an agreement, nothing will make it to the governor's desk.
Former Vice President Mike Pence is attacking his former boss like we've never seen before.
He went after Trump during a town hall last night, hours after launching his own presidential campaign. And as ABC's Lindsay Watts explains, Pence has issues over Trump's ideas when it comes to federal spending and entitlement reform.
Mike Pence ended his first day as a presidential candidate by addressing his fallout with the person who made him a vice president.
I said today President Trump was wrong then, he's wrong now.
During a CNN town hall last night, Pence criticized Trump for his actions on January 6th, insisting Trump was wrong to ask him to overturn some electoral college votes.
And I said today that I felt that he was asking me to choose between him and the Constitution. I chose the Constitution.
But Pence walked a fine line regarding Trump's legal troubles, saying the Justice Department should not indict Trump over his handling of classified documents because it would be, quote, terribly divisive. One question stumping Pence was on gun violence after he called for mass shooters to face the death penalty within a year and a half of their crime.
A lot of people who are mass shooters, they go in with the intention to die. So how would the threat of execution be a deterrent?
Well, I follow these stories just as closely as you do. I just believe in the deterrent of the law.
Polls show Trump leads the Republican primary field by more than 20 points. Pence has pledged to support whomever wins the nomination, despite saying Trump isn't fit to serve again.
How can you say that you would support him if he's the nominee?
Well, because I don't think Donald Trump's going to be the nominee
What if he
in the
is?
Republican Party. I don't think he's going to be the nominee.
What if he is?
I have great confidence in Republican primary voters.
Pence was also asked if he's elected, would he pardon Trump? He didn't answer that one. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
In the trial of a Florida sheriff's deputy accused of not preventing some of the Parkland school shooting murders, the prosecution and defense gave wildly divergent opening statements. It sets the stage for a trial that is the first of its kind in U.S. history. A prosecutor told jurors that former Broward County Deputy Scott Peterson could have confronted shooter Nicholas Cruz. He says Peterson could have stopped the deaths of 6 of the 17 people who died at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School 5 years ago. Instead, the prosecutors say Peterson took cover, but the defense attorney tells jurors that Peterson basically was thrown under the bus to preserve the career of then Sheriff Scott Israel, who he said needed to find a scapegoat for his department's failures leading up to the shooting.
A congressional effort to squash President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program dies a quick death. The bill offers to forgive up to $20,000 in debt for students who went to college on Pell Grants and $10,000 for those without. Both chambers of Congress passed a bill that would have halted Biden's program, but the president vetoed the legislation yesterday, saying he, quote, won't back down from helping hardworking folks. The legality of the loan forgiveness program is in the hands of the Supreme Court. The justices are expected to issue a decision on it this summer.
Now, smoke from Canadian wildfires continue to create an unhealthy haze in parts of the Northeast. The haze is holding up flights at major airports. AJD postponing Major League Baseball games. The Air Quality Index, a U.S. Environmental Protection Agency metric for air pollution, exceeding a staggering 400 at times across upstate New York, New York City, and Pennsylvania. A level of 50 or under is considered good. Anything over 300 is considered hazardous. The unhealthy air extended as far as North Carolina and Indiana.
Time now is 4:38 and 73 degrees for now.
And Denver getting a very important against Miami in the NBA Finals last night. Up next, how Nikola Jokic led the way with a first in Finals history.
And a quick look at the roads with Trans Guide. Looking over at I-35 at Walsham Road, where we see problems there, an accident, but we're going to be checking in with our Stephen Cavazos in the next half hour.
And taking a look outside, folks, it's 4:38, 73 degrees already. We are expecting those temperatures to warm up a little bit more. We'll be checking in with Mike later to see how the day and the rest of the week is going to play out. Denver won Game 3 of the NBA Finals, 109-94 last night, as seen right here on KSAT 12. The first half was close with 7 ties and 7 lead changes. Now, Denver led 53-48 at halftime, and then they pulled away in the third quarter, going up by as many as 19 points. Now, Nikola Jokic led the way with 32 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. The first 30-20 to 10 game in finals history, and Christian Brown was superb off the bench with 15. Now, Game 4 is set for tomorrow night at 7:30 in Miami. The Nuggets lead 2 games to 1. The Texas Longhorns defeated Miami 10-6 on Sunday to win the Coral Gables Regional while advancing to the Super Regionals, where they'll face the Stanford Cardinal. In that game Sunday versus Miami, Horns freshman Jalen Flores crushed a grand slam to center field in the bottom of the third inning as part of a 9-run frame. His only hit was a big one. And Texas will play Stanford in the Stanford Super Regional. Game 1 is this Saturday at 5 p.m. Game 2 is Sunday. And Game 3, if necessary, will go down on Monday. In Texas League action, the Missions hammered the Wind Surge 10-4 at the Wolf, improving to 29-24. Lefty Jackson Wolf carried a perfect game bid into the 6th inning for the Missions.
Way to go, Missions. Time now, 4:43 and 73 degrees for now.
And getting in the 10,000 steps a day is a big way to help you stay in shape. But if you need some fresh motivation, up next we have some gadgets that can help you achieve your goals.
A summer vacation turns into a nightmare following a deadly parasailing accident in Florida. Up next, a husband and father tell the story and a warning for those getting ready for their summer trips. And welcome back. It's 4:45. The husband whose wife was killed while parasailing on vacation in Florida is speaking out in an emotional interview. ABC's Gio Benitez has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an ABC News exclusive.
Looking back, it kind of left a horrible moments for us.
Srini Alaparthy and his family traveling from their Illinois home to Florida just over a year ago. But their fun in the sun parasailing trip turning to tragedy when the parasail, caught in extreme wind gusts, pulled the boat off course. The captain cutting the parasail loose, sending Srini's wife, son, and nephew spiraling out of control, killing his wife. Now, for the first time, he's telling his story to GMA.
Yeah, I didn't exactly see when he cut the rope. It was kind of terrifying and horrible moments.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll share his emotional interview and what he wants all families to know before they head off on their summer vacation. With your GMA First Look, I'm Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Now, you hear a lot of people talking about getting in about 10,000 steps a day. Stephanie, I know you're very active, went on a walk yesterday, but experts are saying it can help protect against heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer.
And however, as 12 on your side's Marilyn Morris reports, any amount of walking is a step in the right direction.
Do you get 10,000 steps a day? That's roughly 5 miles. But if 10,000 steps is just too much, good news. Fewer steps can still lead to improved health.
Higher step counts have been associated with a lower risk of things like sleep apnea, reflux, and depression. But even a 15-minute stroll can help improve your mood, reduce stress, and help you sleep better.
Generally, experts say the more you walk, the better. But if you need motivation, a fitness tracker or smartwatch can help you reach your goals. Consumer Reports tests both types of gadgets and recommends the Fitbit Inspire 3 for $99 and the Apple Watch SE for about $250.
Remember that there's no one correct number of steps for every person. Any amount of walking that gets you up and out of your chair is a step in the right direction.
To figure out your step goal, start by finding out how many steps you get in a typical week. Then increase your daily average by 500. Once you can hit that new number regularly for a week, add another 500. Some things that can help: good fitting shoes, wearing bright colors, and walking with good posture. If you have balance issues, use walking poles. And if you need music or a podcast, be sure you're still aware of your environment to keep you safe and let you enjoy the walk. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Let's look at the roads with TransGuide. Again, there's a crash reported by TxDOT. This is along I-35 northbound at Walsham Road and appears to be on the frontage road. And when it's blocked, you can see emergency responders on the scene. And we're going to be checking in with Stephen Cavazos in the next half hour.
That's right. Now, speaking of walking and taking those steps, is today going to be a good day to be out there and hit that goal?
First of all, the heat and humidity. You want to obviously watch that and watch, walking on concrete or asphalt with pets.
Yes.
Other thing too. And then you may have to dodge a couple of stronger thunderstorms later on this afternoon as well. So now up in this morning, you're not going to be doing any walking up there right around Fredericksburg as of right now, because we've got a pretty good thunderstorm cell which is continuing to hold together. First of all, I just want to point out that we had that cell, that disturbance, that's nighttime storm complex, however you want to call it, that moved down along the Rio Grande. That's still producing some rain well down there to the south. But it is this cell cell right here. And this thing is still packing a punch, but notice how we've gone from a little bit of the purple in there, the really intense rainfall, maybe even a little bit of hail mixed in, and it almost appears to be weakening as of right now. I want to take a look at the rainfall rates, and at one point this was coming down at about, or some of these cells were coming down at roughly 7 inches. I want to turn off the lightning there, and it was coming down at the rate of 7 inches per hour, which is probably still the situation there. Yeah, about 7 inches per hour. That doesn't mean you'll get 7 inches of rain. This thing's moving at 30 to 35 miles per hour. So it just means a really, really heavy gully washer, if you will. And it is continuing also to work its way down to the south and east. So let me go back to the radar right here. And if we put this going down to the southeast at 30, we'll say 35 miles per hour, it's about 30 knots. So what that's going to do is head in towards San Marcos, if indeed this does hold together, because a lot of times these nighttime storm cells, as we approach sunrise, they tend to kind of die down a little bit, and that was the case yesterday as well. But Blanco right around 5:30 this morning, and then continuing down to the south, Pleasant Valley Crossing right around 5:56. So this will continue its trek to the southeast this morning, and then it will kind of die down. But there's going to be some leftover energy from this, and that's going to help to feed some showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon. And here's live cam over there by the airport, and like we said off the top of the show, if we waited long enough, we could probably see some of those lightning flashes well up there to the north. Otherwise, we've got dry roads here in town. Much warmer temperatures than yesterday. Yesterday we started off below normal in the upper 60s. Right now we're at 75, normal 72. May drop a little bit throughout the course of the morning, and we still have that 10% chance for those showers, especially up to the north. And then we get the little bit of a break in the action, 86 at noon, and then more showers, thunderstorms pop up later on this afternoon, which, as you can see with this computer model, here's that energy coming in here from the north. We still have this northwesterly flow, and some of these are going to be potentially severe later on today. So Storm Prediction Center does have us in that risk for a few isolated strong to potentially severe storms around here. Large hail, high winds are going to be the biggest threats with that. One or two, I know we keep adding these on each and every day, but you know, a 20% chance for a stray shower thunderstorm tomorrow as well. But most noticeably, we are going to then start the real heat up, and we get in the mid 90s over the weekend, upper 90s next week. And there will be a lot of triple digits out there, especially along the Rio Grande Valley next week. Hopefully, tiny bit of salvation by the end of next week, but
no guarantee.
I know. We hope
yeah,
so.
That's still a week off, and it's just a little subtle change. But yeah, heat's definitely on, and faucet's getting turned off.
Well, that just means a couple of things: SPF and hydrate. Drink lots of fluids.
Yep.
Well, folks, time is 4:53. Temperature is 73 degrees.
And actress Shannon Doherty says cancer has spread to her brain. Up next, why she says she wants to share her fight against it.
A legendary rapper gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, plus actress Shannon Doherty shares her cancer concerns.
The latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Tupac Shakur! A legendary rapper finally honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The posthumous honor going to Tupac Shakur Wednesday. His sister Sexual on hand, representing the family and getting emotional.
Today we're not just honoring a star on the ground, but we're honoring the work and a passion that he has put into making his dreams come true.
Tupac Shakur has sold more than 75 million albums worldwide, with 5 of them going #1 on the Billboard 200 album chart. He was shot and killed in 1996. His murder officially remains unsolved. Actress Shannon Doherty's cancer has spread to her brain. She made the reveal on Instagram, saying in January she started brain radiation therapy, sharing that she's scared, but she wanted to share the fear and turmoil so people can see what cancer can look like. Doherty was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, and after going into remission, she revealed in 2020 that the disease had spread and was now stage 4. The smoke that has descended on New York from the fires in Canada affecting several corners of the entertainment world. Picketing in New York City by the Writers Guild has been suspended, and actress Jodie Comer left the stage during her Broadway play Wednesday because of the air quality. And actress Juliana Margulies, star of the morning show The Good Wife, ER. It's her birthday today. She's 57. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, folks, time is 4:57. Temperature is 73 degrees.
Smoke from Canadian wildfires continue to pour into the U.S. East Coast and Midwest. Up next, how the smoke is affecting air travel and postponing major sporting events.
Plus, how Mayor Ron Nirenberg is reacting to a recent string of shootings across San Antonio.
And ahead on GMSA at 6, the San Antonio International Airport is getting some national recognition. We're going to tell you why and how it's a great thing for travelers.
And taking a look live at the roads with TransGuide, we'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos to see how the roadways are playing out. Is it smooth sailing out there for all those early birds heading into work? We'll be right back.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hazy and dangerous fumes are engulfing skies across the Northeast. I'm Lindsay Watts in Washington. Coming up, what to know about those wildfires raging in Canada.
And taking a look outside with live cam, lights are shining. It's 73 degrees. We'll be checking in with Mike's forecast to see how the day is going to be heating up. Good morning, San Antonio. It's Thursday, June 8th. Stephanie, it's a pleasure to be able to join you here this morning.
I'm glad to have you. Welcome, Jonathan. And of course, on Friday Junior, we love that, the day before
absolutely.
Friday.
Absolutely.
Excited about that. But, you know, driving into work, I saw flashes of lightning, no rain, but I guess let's go ahead and check in with Mike to see if that's going to stick around.
Yeah, if you, well, you may have seen them down to the south, but also looking up to the north. And this picture behind me may show, you may see a little flash in there. We're looking off to the north because of a big cell up there in Gillespie County. I'm going to show you that in just a second. First of all, temperature right now stands at 74 degrees. So we are warmer than where we were yesterday. Normal low 72. We'll drop down another couple of notches here and there before it's all said and done. The bottom number 68. Dew point is fairly high, so yeah, you do notice the humidity when you step outside. We are going to hit 92 later on today for a high temperature. That, once again, is a normal high. We did say just below 90 yesterday. The aquifer yesterday dropped down 1/10 of a foot, and the allergens, mold is on the moderate side. It had come down from the previous day, and of course, a couple of days ago, it was just sky high out there. Take a look at that thunderstorm cell up there in Gillespie County, just to the east of Fredericksburg as of right now. And that's still packing a fairly decent punch. It's producing rain at the rate, you can see some of that purple area right there. That's producing rain at the rate of about 7 inches per hour at last check. And we do have a lot of lightning with that as well. Now, it is working its way down to the, you can see just about southeast at 30-35 miles per hour. Also, take note, that line right there, that would be a bit of an outflow boundary. So what that's going to do is sort of hang around then later on this afternoon, and that's going to help to spawn a few more showers and thunderstorms. Now, of course, we've had a couple of the past few days, but then today we do have a better chance that some of those with a more volatile atmosphere, some of these may be strong to potentially severe later on this afternoon. High winds and large hail are going to be the biggest threats. And again, this covers all of the area. Now, this doesn't mean everybody's going to be seeing not severe weather nor even just scattered showers and thunderstorms, but you're just going to be on the lookout. So this morning, leftover showers, some down to the southeast, and then that storm up there to the north. And then later on today, a few storms, some severe, again, hail and high winds, the biggest threats. Now, tomorrow we'll still have a chance for a couple of showers here and there. Not a great chance. It's going to be hot and getting hotter through the weekend and getting even hotter next week. Mid upper 90s over the weekend, upper 90s. That's what I'm going for here in town, which means along the Rio Grande, definitely a lot of triple digits next week. Is there any salvation beyond that? We will check and see. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, good morning, sir. Big problem on the northeast side, right?
That's right, Mike. Let's get a look here. 35 at Walsham. Flashing lights, never a good sign this early in the morning, but we have multiple first responders out there on the scene. I'm going to actually take a step out so you can take a look at the scene that's unfolding out there. This does appear to be on the frontage road. A crash reported by KSAT just before 4 this morning. You can see off in the distance there is a truck that appears to have gone off the roadways there. No word yet on how many other vehicles may have been involved or if there were any injuries reported, but we are seeing traffic move through that area, and it is a pretty busy spot. So watch for those first responders. It does look like they're getting ready to shut down that access road. I'll see if our friends at TransGuide could get us a closer look at the conditions there, but let's go ahead and and show you what the conditions on our map look like. It's not too far from Walsham Road. We have it there on our map. You can see with the icon behind me. Again, not causing so much of an issue with traffic because it is very early in the morning, so we have that on our side, but still be on the lookout. Our Thursday morning commute has shaped up to be pretty busy. I have to take a drive over here to I-10 eastbound. Traffic's moving a lot better than what we saw earlier. There was some road construction not too far from Crossroads Boulevard. It looks like that may be in the clearing stages and those lanes may be opening up. Wide look at our map now doesn't really show a lot else out there at 503. You're seeing just a lot of construction spots. That may be the other headline of the morning. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but quick look at some of these travel times. If you're heading in from Bernie this early, I-10 eastbound should be about 26 minutes. A little bit of a slowdown though along 281 southbound. If you're heading in from Bulverde, we're seeing a 28-minute commute. And right now it's not too awful from New Braunfels, so take your time though, 27 minutes along 35 southbound. Let's get it back here on TransGuide. Flashing lights there at 35 at Walsham Road along the Axis Road. We'll see if our friends at TransGuide can give us a different view of the conditions out there. But right now, just make sure to move over or slow down for those first responders. Jonathan, Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. 9 shootings in just 6 days, and San Antonio police believe victims in at least 4 of those shootings were targeted. One of the shootings caused chaos at North Star Mall on Sunday when suspects killed a victim in cold blood while he was getting a haircut. A drive-by Friday killed a 16-year-old and hospitalized 3 others, including a 5-year-old. San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Police Chief William McManus have echoed similar messages of gun control. Meanwhile, the push for legislation continues in Austin and Washington, D.C.
This is a challenge being faced all across the country. What's unique here in Texas and some other states as well is the legislature making it easier for these weapons to be all over our streets and getting in the wrong hands.
I understand some people want assault weapons bans and some people don't want to talk about it at all. I'm of the mindset of what can we do to make sure we protect the Constitution as well as keep our kids safe in school.
U.S. House lawmaker Tony Gonzalez tells us he is working with the mayor to secure federal funding for additional resources. Even with the recent shootings, the mayor says, according to UTSA data, the city's violent crime prevention plan is showing promising signs, with rates of violent crime dropping both citywide and in hotspots.
In Converse, 2 students are in hot water after they were found with weapons at Veterans Memorial High School. No shooting happened and no one was hurt. Justin ISD staff say an anonymous tip led to the discovery yesterday. The school was placed on lockdown and school staff found 2 students on campus who both had weapons. They were both arrested and are facing severe consequences. Now, within days of opening its doors, a trading card store in Castle Hills was hit by a thief. They were able to recover the merchandise, but the person responsible still hasn't been caught. Surveillance video caught the person in the act. It happened when store owner Cole Blancett's back was turned. Blancett says the merchandise taken was worth $500. It was then taken down the road to another card store in Balcones Heights. Those store owners had seen the surveillance video posted by Blancett later that day. They returned the merchandise, but Blancett says now he needs to change his business protocols.
We're going to have to start IDing and doing other things and having those items on file. So if a store does call us and say, hey, we had some stolen product, I can track that person down.
Castle Hills police are investigating the theft that happened at Polk Hive. If you have information, you are asked to give them a call. And this morning, wildfire smoke is engulfing much of the East Coast, upending daily life. Now, unhealthy air extended as far as North Carolina and Indiana. And as ABC's Lindsay Watts explains, things could get even worse later today.
Right now, hundreds of forest fires are blazing across Canada, threatening buildings, forcing evacuations, and across the border, blanketing U.S. cities in a thick and dangerous haze.
The levels of health concern that is clearly alarming for New Yorkers. This is the highest level index of our knowledge since the 60s.
New York City is now registering the worst air quality of any major city in the world.
We are making available 1,095,000 masks to be made available at state facilities.
The orange skyline looking more like Mars.
Very, very scary just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack.
From the Big Apple to Philadelphia to D.C. and as far south as North Carolina and Georgia, officials are warning families to stay indoors even if they're healthy. One expert says being exposed to the current air quality in New York for 24 hours is equivalent to smoking 6 cigarettes. Emergency rooms are preparing for possible patients.
The more exposure folks have, the more likely it is that they'll be sick.
D.C. could see some of the worst conditions today, while cities including Pittsburgh and Dayton, Ohio are bracing for worsening conditions tomorrow. Hazy skies expected to last until the weekend. More than 6 million acres have already burned in Canada in what's shaping up to be the country's worst fire season on record. Experts say persistent heat in recent weeks fueled those flames.
It is yet another alarming example of the ways in which the climate crisis is disturbing our lives and our communities.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says hundreds of American firefighters have recently arrived in Canada, and he's thanking the U.S. for that critical support. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
All right, folks, time is 5:10. Temperature is 73 degrees.
And ready to pay less for Amazon Prime Video? We're going to tell you about the company's cost-saving plan.
And Texas ranks second in the country for food insecurity. Up next, how local hospitals are trying to change that in one cereal at a time.
And looking out there with live cam, Mike has been keeping his eye on some storms in the area, but not here in this shot. I didn't see any rain on the way to work, but I did see some lightning kind of far away. We're going to be checking him with the latest for those storm chances and also how hot it's going to get. We'll be right back.
Fighting food insecurity is the goal behind the 9th annual Healthy Over Hungry Cereal Drive.
Northeast Baptist Hospital is teaming up with the San Antonio Food Bank to fill up cereal bowls across San Antonio. The food bank says Texas ranks second in the country for food insecurity. And in Bexar County, 1 in 4 children don't know where they will find their next meal.
Cereal is one of those things that can start their day out. And if you really focus on that whole grain, lower sugar cereal, we can really make a difference here.
And you can drop off cereal at any of the 6 Baptist Health System hospitals until next Monday. We have everything you need to know posted right now on our website at KSAT.com.
That's right. I think we all have that extra box of cornflakes that we can drop off at the food bank.
Or definitely buy one on the way there, too.
All right, folks, it's 5:14, 73 degrees.
Samsung is holding its next Galaxy Unpacked event. We're going to show you what should be the next big thing in foldable iPhones. Or phones, excuse me, not iPhones.
Foldable iPhones.
That would be cool, though.
Super cool. And another electric vehicle hits the market. We'll show you why it's one of the least expensive EVs on the market.
Claire stayed in this amazing hotel and paid this much for her room. Jess stayed in the same hotel and paid a lot less. How? Let's go back. While Claire found her hotel on her usual booking site, Jess found her deal on Trivago. Have a look-see, Claire. Trivago compares hotel offers from major booking sites so you can find the best deal for you. Hotel Trivago.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose. Delicious, too. Just ask my old friend Kevin.
Nothing like enjoying a cold one while watching the game. Who's winning?
No idea. Real milk, real delicious. And don't forget to try some delicious, creamy Lactate ice cream. What's that, Mabel?
Wow. Smart cow.
Amazon is reportedly adding an ad-supported subscription plan to its Prime Video streaming service. ABC's Andrew Dimebird has the details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Amazon is expected to introduce ads to its Prime Video streaming service. The company is reportedly looking to generate more revenue from entertainment. It's unclear how much the ad-supported plan would cost or if it will affect Amazon Prime members who get the service currently for free. Next, Samsung is staying at home for its upcoming product launch. For the first time, the Unpacked event will be held in Seoul. Samsung's announcement indicates the event will unveil its next generation of foldable devices. Finally, Volvo is out with an electric SUV that's one of the least expensive on the market. The EX30 can go from 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds and fully charge in less than 30 minutes. Best of all, the price starts at under $37,000. There are so many options for electric vehicles now. It makes my head hurts. Those are your tech bites. Have a great.
Yeah, let's say it twice.
One went over my head.
I have to point out, I'm not here every morning. It says family time on the screen, and I was wondering what it is. And
Yeah, the
here
family.
it is.
It's
Family
this.
time.
It's this.
Yeah,
This is the family time.
Welcome.
Yes. Who's cooking dinner?
If we just had cereal here.
I was going to say.
I was just thinking.
Who's making
What kind of
breakfast?
cereal?
I think you and I would do great in the kitchen together.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Where's the stuff?
Let's make it happen. Breakfast is the best meal.
I'll wash the dishes.
Well,
I'll eat the food.
Well, we know a lot of you are waking up right now and getting the day started, so let's get a look at what you can expect traffic-wise. We have some issues out on the roadways along 35 at Walsham Road. You saw some flashing lights a little bit earlier, but I wanted to give you a quick look around town because there are other places where we're seeing the commute pick up just a bit. 37 at Fair Avenue isn't a problem spot, but 410 at Jackson Keller, there was some construction not too far from there that just wrapped up a little while ago. But as I'm getting a look at some of these TransGuide cameras, it does look like we still have some problems out there at 35 northbound at Walsham. You can see that is where we have the icon placed on our map. So watch out. This is along the access road. It does look like a single vehicle crash was involved. So let's hope everyone's doing okay. Now, giving you a look at some construction taking place a little bit later tonight. US 90, I mentioned that there was a lot of it happening. US 90 on the west side of Bexar County. Overlay work will wrap on Friday, June 30th. But don't forget, folks, if you are heading out between the hours of 8:30 to 5 in the morning, you'll see various lane closures along the frontage roads in both directions from Loop 410 to West Military Highway. But I do want to get one more shot here at 35 at Walsham Road where we do have that crash. It does look like we are in the clearing stages, Mike, but it seems like every day this week we've had an issue out on the roadways.
Yes. And we haven't had any wet roads around here either, which is interesting because a lot of times that could be the cause of it. But hopefully, folks, things are better later on this morning as far as the roads are concerned. All right, this is the live cam over there at the airport, and we're looking straight up to the north, and you can see those lightning flashes up there, and that's from that thunderstorm cell well up there in Fredericksburg, and it does appear to be dying down ever so slightly. You can see the aerial coverage is starting to decrease, and then also the intensity. We're not seeing those spots of purple, but just to show how far this is and that we're able to see the lightning from this thing, let's put a yardstick on this, and right there, so from this cell all the way down to San Antonio, that's about 55 miles, but it is tall enough, obviously, in the atmosphere that we can see those lightning strikes out there. Now, a lot of folks sometimes in the summertime call this heat lightning just because you don't hear anything and there's no rain where you are. That is a complete there's nothing. Heat lightning is just one of those kind of old sayings that doesn't apply to anything. It takes into account a storm that is so far away you don't hear the lightning, but you can see it. It is not really a phenomenon, if you will. This will continue to work its way down to the east to southeast, and it does appear to be, like I said, starting to fizzle out a lot of times what these storms do as we approach sunrise. So we'll still have a couple leftover showers here and there, and some sunshine then. That then is going to help to make the atmosphere more volatile, and we will start to see more showers and thunderstorms then picking up later on this afternoon. High temperature is going to make it up to 92, so that's a normal high. A little bit of an anomaly given the fact we've been staying below that for the past few days, but yeah, we're going to finally make it back up to where we should be. Now, the leftover energy from this storm this morning combined with some more energy is going to help to spawn a few more showers and thunderstorms later on today, and some of these may be on the strong, potentially severe side. Of course, some of these storms the past couple of days have been dumping some fairly decent rain, some gusty winds, high winds, and large hail, are going to be the biggest threats, and that threat is all around the area. This doesn't mean everybody's going to be seeing anything potentially on the strong side, but you just have to be on the lookout for that. This high is continuing to build on in here, and it's sort of keeping everything just at bay. And by the way, that big low up there with that counterclockwise flow is what's helping to pump all that smoke in toward the northeastern United States. But for us, that high is going to be the one that really starts to heat things up over the next few days. So we got the chance for a couple of stronger storms later on today. Then tomorrow, 1 or 2 showers out there. And pretty much as we go into the weekend, the faucet gets turned off and the heat gets turned up, mid-upper 90s, upper 90s next week. So there will be a lot of folks that are going to be seeing your first triple digits next week.
Well, it is June, so I guess we should maybe be thankful that, it was in check.
Haven't seen it up till this point, yeah.
Yeah, for a while.
Last year, we tied another record high in the hundreds.
True.
We've welcomed the delay on those triple digits for sure.
Yeah. Maybe some hope later on down the line, right?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Time is 5:24. Temperature 73 degrees for now.
Up next, bad air from fire stops a Broadway show, plus a look at the latest Expendables action film.
Welcome back, folks. It's hard to believe, but actors sometimes deal with some of the same problems as the rest of us.
CNN's David Daniel has a couple of examples, plus a movie preview in today's Hollywood Minute.
New York's poor air quality has affected at least one Broadway show. 10 minutes into a matinee performance of Prima Facie, actress Jodie Comer had trouble breathing and left the stage. A show representative said an understudy was able to take over. Comer is nominated for a Tony Award for the play. The Tonys are Sunday in New York, which, like much of the northeastern U.S., is shrouded in smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires.
Already looking good, 0.02, fantastic.
Shannon Doherty says her breast cancer has spread to her brain. The actress shared a video on Instagram showing her being fitted for a mask to wear during radiation treatments. Doherty wrote about her fear, praised her doctors, and said this is what cancer can look like.
Hey, why are you here?
I got this situation where I need your help.
I need bad friends.
Old friends and new, including Megan Fox and 50 Cent, unite to save the world from terrorists with nuclear missiles in the fourth Expendables movie. Jason Statham and Sylvester Stallone return when Expendables, with a 4 in place of the A, blasts into theaters September 22nd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
You know, taking a look at some of those images out of New York just really triggers my asthma. And we were talking about allergies.
Yes. Here in this area.
In this area.
But we don't have that.
I can't imagine what those people are dealing with.
Yeah, and a lot of people are having to wear masks just to get around.
That's right. Horrible situation, folks. Time is 5:28, temperature 73 degrees.
An effort by Congress to stop President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program dies a quick death. Just ahead, what's next for the loan program this summer?
And from pickle pizza to the ultimate version of Coca-Cola, up next, we have a unique variety of new food and drink items coming soon.
And ahead on GMSA at 6, a lot of people are choosing to work part-time for their health. But could it hurt your career down the road? What we're able to find out coming up.
Making headlines this morning, President Biden is moving forward with his plan for student loan forgiveness.
Nearly 90% of those relief dollars go to people making less than $75,000 a year.
Up next, as the president vetoes legislation against his plan, why several lawmakers are calling the move unfair.
A man was shot to death in the middle of the street on San Antonio's west side. Good morning, I'm Melissa Cole, and coming up, we'll tell you what you can do to help police find the suspects.
And let's look out there with live cam, a little humid, not too bad though, 73 degrees, and some showers that Mike's keeping his eye on, but we're going to check in with you in just a minute. For now, good morning.
Good morning,
Happy
San
Thursday.
Antonio. Happy Thursday. You call it Friday Junior.
Friday Junior.
I love that.
Yeah.
I call it Friday Eve.
Both. I
the junior thing.
I've done both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
I
interchange
like
it, but either way, I'm a fan of Thursday.
Sounds like a burger.
Oh.
That does sound
Friday
like a
Junior.
burger.
I'll have the Friday Junior, please. Medium.
Medium.
You're onto something.
Extra mustard.
You're onto something.
Hey, it's a lot warmer this morning than what it has been the past couple of days, but we are closer to a normal temperature. And let's see, we've been keeping this camera pointed up there to the north, and we have seen some flashes of lightning every once in a while. And temperatures here in town, 74, normal low 72. So yesterday, again, we were on the other side of normal, 4 degrees below that in the upper 60s. So that's not going to be the case this morning. We do have more humidity out there as well, with that dew point up to 68. So you notice it when you step outside this morning. Here's what we are talking about as far as those thunderstorm cells, or that one cell up there right up around Fredericksburg. And this thing has been sort of fizzling out a little bit in the past couple of hours. Notice how it looped through an hour ago, and it was really packing a punch and dumping rain at the rate of 6, 7, almost close to 8 inches per hour. It didn't mean you're going to get that much, but it was just really, really heavy downpours. But notice how it is starting to sort of fizzle on out now. A couple of different things we want to keep an eye on, though, is this little spot right up there in northern Kendall County, a couple of showers that have developed, and that's almost right along that outflow boundary. And so this is a little bit of energy thrown out from that is going to kind of continue to keep the atmosphere agitated, and so that's going to help not only with a couple of more showers this morning, but then later on this afternoon. Mold's on the moderate side from yesterday's count. Now, later on this afternoon, like the past couple of days, we'll have showers and a few thunderstorms, but today there is the threat for some of those, just isolated, to be strong, potentially severe. High winds and large hail are going to be the biggest threats with that. So we'll still have a couple of leftover showers hanging around here this morning, and we'll make it up through the upper 70s, mid 80s today at noon. We get, again, that little break in the action, then things start to get rolling again later on in the early to late afternoon hours. We'll make it up to 92, and we'll have a few of those scattered showers and thunderstorms around here. Again, some could be on the stronger side. Maybe one or two tomorrow. Wouldn't get your hopes too high, but one thing for sure, boy, that 92 is going to feel really nice compared to where we're going to be over the weekend and next week. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. No, you had that problem over there on the northeast side still there?
It cleared out, Mike, so that's great. But we have more flashing lights out here. 281 at 410. Let's get a wider look at TransGuide. You can see behind me that we actually have flashing lights out in the distance. This does appear to be a stalled vehicle that was reported. Doesn't seem to be impacting the main lanes of traffic. This does look like it's off on the shoulder lanes, but you have to watch out because as we get closer to 6 a.m., we tend to see a lot more activity out on the roadways. So make sure that you move over or slow down for those first responders. Let's get you to our map because stalls right now are the trending issue. We have another one here at Loop 410 southbound at Ingram Road. This is not causing any problems as well for drivers, but as always, a friendly reminder to you all, make sure that you check those vehicles before you get your morning commute rolling. Now let's give you a wide look at the map. What we are going to see a lot of is some of that overnight construction. Some of it will take place a little bit later today. We'll have more of that a little later on, but I do want to get to some travel times. I-10 westbound, if you're heading in from Seguin, you're still in the green with 31 minutes along those lanes. 33 along 87 northbound if you're traveling in from Lavernia, and for our friends down in Floresville, should be about a 29-minute commute for you if you head out the door this early in the morning. But let's get it back here on TransGuide. Let's hope for a better update here at 281 at the Loop 410. You could see that, again, traffic's moving through the area. This doesn't seem to be causing a big impact with traffic, but we do have a KSAT Hero truck out there, so that's always good news. We'll have an update on other road closures coming up a little bit later on in the newscast. Jonathan, Steph.
Thank you, Steve. For the second time this week, San Antonio police have blocked off an area of a neighborhood in search of shooting suspects.
The search happened last night on the city's west side on West Laurel near Zarzamora and North Calaveras after two suspects were involved in the shooting death of a man. Alyssa Cole joins us live outside of police headquarters downtown. And Alyssa, are police still searching for the suspects?
Good morning. Yes, as far as we know, police are still searching for those two people involved in last night's incident. Now, we don't have any identification or description of the suspects, but we do know that the suspects involved in last night's incident was arguing with the victim in the middle of the street on West Laurel. That victim was shot in the chest and was pronounced dead last night. Now, the suspects ran away. Police set up a search quadrant up to 8 blocks in that area with hopes to find the suspect, but we do know now that they are still searching for those people. If you have any information that can help Crime Stoppers in this case, you are encouraged to reach out at 244-STOP. But for now, reporting downtown San Antonio, Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alyssa. This morning, people paying back student loan debt can breathe a sigh of relief for now.
The Biden White House's federal student loan forgiveness program is moving forward. However, as CNN's John Lawrence reports, the bill still faces legal challenges and opposition from Republicans and some moderate Democrats.
A congressional effort to squash President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program dies a quick death.
He's continued to pursue new government spending, from his nearly $1 trillion student loan giveaway to a budget that in a few short years would have us spending $10 trillion annually.
The bill offers to forgive up to $20,000 in debt for students who went to college on Pell Grants and $10,000 for those without, if specific requirements are met.
Nearly 90% of those relief dollars go to people making less than $75,000 a year.
Both chambers of Congress passed a bill that would have halted Biden's program, but the president vetoed the legislation Wednesday, saying he, quote, won't back down from helping hardworking folks.
Some of the same members of Congress who supported this bill voted through huge tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy as well. But when it comes to hardworking Americans trying to get ahead, dealing with the student debt relief, that's where they drew the line.
Critics say the proposal is financially unfair.
What President Biden is doing is transferring those student loans and those student loan debt onto the backs of hardworking Iowans and others.
The legality of the loan forgiveness program is in the hands of the Supreme Court. The justices are expected to issue a decision on it this summer. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Today, the main suspect in the 2005 disappearance of Alabama student Natalie Holloway is expected to be handed over to U.S. officials in Peru and flown to the United States. Joran Vandersloot's extradition is wanted in the U.S. on one count each of extortion and wire fraud. Those are the only charges to have ever linked the Dutch citizen to Holloway's disappearance on the Caribbean island of Aruba. Holloway was 18 when she vanished during a trip with classmates and was last seen leaving a bar with Vandersloot. Her body has never been found and no charges related to her disappearance have been filed.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is standing by the flights of migrants his state sent from Texas to California. Now, the state of Florida says it spent taxpayer money to fly 36 people from El Paso to Sacramento earlier this month. DeSantis, who recently declared his run for president, says California accepted the responsibility for those migrants when it declared itself a sanctuary state. DeSantis and his administration have not responded to the Bexar County Sheriff's criminal case involving a flight of migrants from San Antonio.
All right, time is 5:40, temperature 73 degrees.
And you've heard of pineapples on pizza, but what about some pickle pizza? Well, we're going to tell you where Pizza Hut is offering this new, unique menu item.
Pickle pizza. Not sure how I feel about it, but are you ready for the ultimate version of Coca-Cola? Up next, why the company is not revealing what it tastes like.
And let's look out there with live cam. Things are calm for now, 73 degrees, but Mike has been keeping his eye on some showers in our viewing area. But right here, pretty clear for now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's 5:44 in your morning consumer headlines. Great. Get ready for some pickle pizza. Yes, pickle pizza. Pizza Hut just announced a new product, and it starts with hand-tossed dough, of course, but uses buttermilk ranch instead of tomato sauce. It's topped with breaded chicken breast, onions, and of course, pickles. Then there's another drizzle of buttermilk ranch to finish it off. However, right now, you can only get it at one location, a Pizza Hut in New York City. The company says there's always a chance it could take the product nationwide.
Coca-Cola is launching a new limited edition flavor, but what the actual flavor is remains a mystery. Could it be pickle? Are we onto something? Well, Coca-Cola Ultimate will be marketed to gamers. The soda maker partnered with Riot Games, which publishes the multiplayer online battle arena game of League of Legends. Ultimate will be available in U.S. and Canadian stores starting June 12th for a limited time in regular and zero sugar varieties. Like most of Coke's other limited edition beverages, the actual flavor will remain under wraps.
And whether you're a vegan or just afraid of Taco Bell's meat, you could be seeing something new on the restaurant's menu soon. Taco Bell says it is now testing a vegan version of their popular Crunch Wrap entree. So the new version includes a plant-based protein topped with 2 vegan sauces wrapped in a crunchy tostada shell. Right now, only 3 locations are serving the vegan Crunch Wrap, one in each in New York City, Hollywood, and Orlando. No word on when they might be sold nationwide.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely. Folks, time is 5:46. Temperature is 73 degrees.
Let's check the roads with TransSky. Looking over at I-37 and now at 281 at Loop 410. It appears things are moving in these shots, but we're going to be checking in with our Stephen Cavazos very soon to see how the other roads look around town.
All right, time check. We are approaching 5:50, 10 minutes till 6. Let's get a quick look at your morning drive. You can see 37 at Fair Avenue. Things are definitely getting busy in the north and southbound lanes. We can expect the traffic to pick up, especially as we get closer to morning rush. But right now, I wouldn't say there's a need to rush. Just make sure you're careful out there. We had some problems reported in different areas of town. A lot of it's cleared out, but still, stalled vehicles are still a problem there. 410 southbound at Ingram Road. You can see it right behind me. No delays with traffic, at least just yet, but we're going to keep a close eye on that throughout throughout the morning. Now, a wide look at the metropolitan area. Not a lot else going on out there. It's actually been a pretty quiet morning for the majority of San Antonio and some of our neighboring communities. Just remember to drive safe, pack some patience if you see any stalled vehicles out there or congestion. But let's get one other look around town. 37, things are moving along just fine. I'm not seeing any major issues, but cords in the way, so really obstructing my sight there. But otherwise, off to a decent start too. Dry roads, so that's a good thing, at least here in town.
Yeah,
definitely.
Dry for now, and probably will maybe stay that way, or there's a chance today.
Well, there's the leftover storm up to the north, which is all but dead right now, and that's still producing, well, it's a couple of lightning strikes, but look at that thing has just continued to fizzle on out very, very quickly over the past about 15 minutes or so. This loop goes through just 1 hour, so it was going pretty good up there in northern Gillespie County earlier this morning and producing a whole bunch of lightning. At one time, radar estimates were coming back with about 7 to close to 8 inches of the rainfall rate per hour. Of course, you weren't getting that much rain, but like I said, that's all but fizzle on out as of right now. And then right here, that line is the outflow boundary from it, like a little mini cold front, if you will. You get these big storms and all the downdrafts, and it hits the ground and spreads out. And it's these lines right here that are usually enough to keep the atmosphere sort of churned up, and they'll even live into the afternoon. So that's where we may see actually a couple of, or that will help to generate a couple of more showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon. 74 right now, so we are 6 above where we were yesterday, 2 degrees above normal. So kind of that, starting to see that change from below normal, much more tolerable conditions to the heat coming back in here. Most readings are in the 70s as of right now. Here's what the computer model looks like throughout the rest of today. And we had the storm this morning, and now things are going to start to settle down a little bit as we go into the middle portion of the day. Then, and with the help of that little outflow boundary up there, we're going to start to see, and we still have this northerly flow in the atmosphere, more of these storms developing later on this afternoon. And some of these could definitely be packing a punch. Not only some hefty downpours, but also we do have the threat for some strong to potentially severe storms around here. High winds, hail are going to be the biggest threats. Now, this is not going to happen everywhere. Not everybody's going to be seeing rain, but if you do, again, some of these storms could be on the stronger side. Once again, we've got this north to northwesterly flow in the atmosphere, and that's the type of thing where you get these little disturbances that come on in here, and they spawn some of these storms, and that's what we've been dealing with the past week with these afternoon showers and storms that do pop up. Other than that, we're going to start to see a big overall pattern change coming about here. Also, one thing I want to point out, notice how there's this huge low which is centered, looks like right there around Maine, and so that is keeping this flow coming in here out of Canada, and that's what's pulling in all of that smoke and pumping all that smoke into the northeastern United States. Forecast for today, we're going to make it up to 92. A few more showers, a couple of thunderstorms, some of those on the strong, potentially severe side. And then we go into the next few days, and rain chances, there'll still be 1 or 2 of them left over tomorrow, at least that chance. But most noticeably, temperatures are going to start to go up. So kind of the honeymoon's over with when we've been having these below normal readings. Most of the spring, really. I mean, we did hit 90 a couple of times, low 90s back in April, but we're definitely going to be cooking going into the weekend as well as middle of next week.
Back to the true San Antonio summer.
And of course, Flag Day on Wednesday.
Very good.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. Time is 5:53. Temperature is 73 degrees.
Let's look here. Winning lotto numbers: pick 3, 395, Fireball 0, Daily 4, 6236, Fireball 3.
Cash 5. Those lucky numbers are 2, 17, 18, 22, 23. At Texas Lottery, those numbers are 21, 28, 32, 45, 52, 54. And Powerball 16, 21, 29, 53, 66. Powerball 2. Megaplier 5. A local card shop opens for business and gets robbed just days later, and it was all caught on camera. What happened after items were stolen? And up next, the remarkable survival story of a 10-year-old who survived over 24 hours in the mountains by herself. How it all went down in just moments. And taking a look at TransGuide, Stephen will have your traffic updated. Mike is standing by with your forecast next.
Right now on GMSA, San Antonio police are investigating another deadly shooting after a violent week across the city. What we've been able to learn in the past few hours. Plus,
hazy and dangerous fumes are engulfing skies across the Northeast. I'm Lindsay Watts in Washington. Coming up, what to know about those wildfires raging in Canada.
And taking a look outside at the Alamo City through live cam, the sun is starting to make its way out. It's 73 degrees for now, but it could play out to be a very hot day. We'll be checking in with Mike.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, San Antonio. It's 6 a.m. on your Thursday, June 8th, almost Friday. Stephanie, you like to call it?
well, I like Friday Junior and Friday Eve as well.
And
yes.
Stephen Cavalso says Friday Junior sounds like a burger order.
Yeah, that sounds good right now. But either way, we're glad it's almost Friday. And people looking forward to the weekend, maybe looking forward to a very hot weekend. Let's go ahead and check in with Mike. But for now, you say there might be some showers in our viewing area a little bit.
Yeah, we got a couple of leftovers up to the north, but that's that system, that storm up there in Gillespie County is just definitely fizzling. It's all pretty much almost dead right now. It did dump a lot of rain, so we do still have some flooding problems in some of the low-lying areas up there. Dumped about 1 inch, 2 inches of rain really quickly. Here's what it looks like in town right now. A little bit of a glow of the sunrise. You can see we do have a few high clouds still hanging around here. And here's this loops back an hour, and this thing was really going gangbusters there in eastern Gillespie County, and then just fell apart. A few leftover showers there in Llano County right now. And then also there's that's that outflow boundary coming on through here. That could spark a stray shower around here this morning, but actually that energy is going to be left over later on this afternoon, and that's going to help to fire up more storms around the area. And some of those could be on the stronger side. More on that in a second. 74 right now. So as opposed to being in the 60s and below normal, we are on the above normal side this morning. We may drop another couple of degrees, but these temperatures are a lot closer to what you would expect this time of year. And there's a fair amount of humidity as well. We've got these dew points getting up into the 70s there, 73 Castroville, 68 here in town. So yeah, you definitely notice the humidity, and mold is on the moderate side. The updated count is going to come out in about an hour and a half. Later on today, more showers and a couple of thunderstorms are going to be popping up around the area. We've got some energy coming in here once again out of the north, and some of those could be strong, potentially severe. High winds and hail are going to be the biggest threats with that. Not everybody's going to be seeing that, but again, that will be the threat later on this afternoon. 86 at noon. We've had a couple of showers this morning. We'll see a lull in the action, and things will start to fire up as we start to see some of the afternoon heating, getting into the early afternoon hours, and then a high temperature today up to 92, and again, a few showers and a few thunderstorms. Get ready, find a friend with a pool, invite yourself over this weekend, because it's going to be hot and staying hot. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. Yeah, anybody?
I was going to ask, do you have a pool?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I'll invite myself over to somebody's house.
We're going to find out, Mike. But let's get a look at traffic. Look, it may be too early to jump in the pool at this hour, but it is not too early to hit the roads. You can see things are getting a little bit busier there at 410 at State Highway 151, but not a bad shot. As we're taking a look at some of the TransGuide cameras, looks like things are moving along just fine, but you can see that we actually do have a crash reported here at Loop 1604 southbound at Wiseman Boulevard. I was trying to see if we can get a shot of the conditions out there, but I'm not really seeing anything. So I'll get on the phone with our friends at TransGuide in just a moment. But for now, just make sure that you watch out if you see those flashing lights out there. Taking a look at our metropolitan area, you are going to start to see slowdowns at this hour. Check it out. US 90, it's a little bit of orange out there, which indicates that we're starting to see a buildup with traffic. That tends to be a busy spot. But right now, it should still be about a 30-minute drive time if you're heading in the eastbound lanes from Castroville. 37 northbound from Pleasanton is a pleasant drive with 29 minutes at this hour. And along I-35 northbound from Lytle, well, your arrival to the Alamo City should take you about 17 minutes. But let's get it back here on TransGuide 35 at San Marcos. Wow, looks like we're starting to see some nice shots of the sun coming up. We'll take a close look at some of these roadways and have an update on that situation at 1604 coming up a little bit later on in the newscast. Guys.
Hey, Stephen. New this morning, 2 people who police say shot and killed a man on the west side last night are still on the run this morning. San Antonio police say a man was taken to the hospital in critical condition after he was shot during an argument. This happened just before 9 last night in the 1800 block of West Laurel Street near North Calaveras and North Zarzamora. Now, witnesses told police that the man was arguing with two people in the street when someone pulled out a gun and shot the man in the chest. San Antonio police say that the man died while being taken to the hospital. No arrests have been made.
And looking ahead, 3 immigration bills have a chance to become Texas law after state lawmakers passed them Wednesday in Austin. The Texas Tribune reports just one of the 3 bills is related to the governor's special session priority list, the anti-smuggling bill. However, the House passed a different version last week, then adjourned. So unless the House reconvenes and both chambers can come to an agreement, nothing will make it to the governor's desk.
Also looking ahead, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton will have a high-profile Houston attorney on his impeachment defense team. Houston lawyer Tony Busby is calling the allegations against his client, quote, completely untrue. Now, state House lawmakers voted to impeach Paxton on 20 articles last month, including abuse of public trust and bribery. A date for Paxton's Senate impeachment trial has yet to be announced.
And topping your morning headlines, wildfire smoke from Canada is casting a near-apocalyptic shadow over the East Coast.
And the unhealthy air is just drifting as far as North Carolina and Indiana. As ABC's Lindsay Watts explains, things could get even worse later today.
Right now, hundreds of forest fires are blazing across Canada, threatening buildings, forcing evacuations, and across the border, blanketing U.S. cities in a thick and dangerous haze.
The levels of health concern that is clearly alarming for New Yorkers. This is the highest level index of our knowledge since the 60s.
New York City is now registering the worst air quality of any major city in the world.
We are making available 1,095,000 masks that we made available at state facilities.
The orange skyline looking more like Mars.
Very, very scary just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack.
From the Big Apple to Philadelphia to D.C. and as far south as North Carolina and Georgia, officials are warning families to stay indoors even if they're healthy. One expert says being exposed to the current air quality in New York for 24 hours is equivalent to smoking 6 cigarettes. Emergency rooms are preparing for possible patients.
The more exposure folks have, the more likely it is that they'll be sick.
D.C. could see some of the worst conditions today, while cities including Pittsburgh and Dayton, Ohio are bracing for worsening conditions tomorrow. Hazy skies expected to last until the weekend. More than 6 million acres have already burned in Canada in what's shaping up to be the country's worst fire season on record. Experts say persistent heat in recent weeks fueled those flames.
It is yet another alarming example of the ways in which the climate crisis is disturbing our lives and our communities.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says hundreds of American firefighters have recently arrived in Canada, and he's thanking the U.S. for that critical support. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is erupting again after a series of earthquakes. Lava burst from the crater floor Wednesday morning, shooting as high as 200 feet in the air. And right now, there's no immediate threat to the public. Visitors could be seen flocking to Volcanoes National Park as the sun came up to see the eruption for themselves. Hawaii Emergency Management issued a red alert as a precaution, advising residents to stay indoors due to ashfall.
A 10-year-old girl was found safe in Washington state over 24 hours after she vanished in the Cascade Mountains just east of Seattle. Shangla Mashani was separated from her family Sunday afternoon and found alive with only minor scrapes the next day. She told rescuers she hiked downstream through the dense forest and spent the cold night between some trees.
In your consumer headlines, have you ever wanted to leave a video voicemail? With Apple's latest iOS update, iPhone users will now be able to leave audio and video messages through the FaceTime app. Now, if the person you're FaceTiming doesn't answer, it will allow you to leave a visual message for them later. Also new, live voicemail gives a real-time transcription as someone leaves a voicemail, along with the chance to pick up while the caller is leaving a message.
And Amazon is expected to introduce ads to its Prime Video streaming service. The company is reportedly looking to generate more revenue from entertainment. It's unclear how much the ad-supported plan would cost or if it would affect Amazon Prime members who get the service currently for free.
Samsung is staying at home for its upcoming product launch. For the first time, the Unpacked event will be held in Seoul. Now, Samsung's announcement indicates the event will unveil its next generation of foldable devices.
And Volvo is out with an electric SUV that's one of the least expensive on the market. The EX30 can go from 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds and fully charge in less than 30 minutes. And best of all, the price starts under $37,000.
Back here at home, San Antonio International Airport is getting some national recognition. A new study from Bounce lists our airport as number 2 when it comes to shortest wait time. The study used airport data and found that San Antonio's average security line wait time was about 6 minutes and 6 seconds. San Antonio came in second behind Baltimore, Washington International, and Maryland. And a friendly reminder that staff at San Antonio's airport say the busiest flights are Mondays, Fridays, and Sundays in the morning.
And they are absolutely correct. I made the mistake of flying out on a Monday. Not smart. Let's avoid Mondays and Fridays for sure.
Well, if you can. Sometimes you can't help it.
Very true. Folks, time is 6:10, temperature 73 degrees.
And coming up later this morning on GMA, the secrets of secondhand shopping for your wedding, what you should and shouldn't buy, and why the dress doesn't necessarily have to be the right size. It's coming up at 7.
And later, a warning from the National Park Service about the wildlife at Yellowstone, what visitors should avoid doing before 6:30.
And let's look out there with live cam. Looking beautiful out there. We're at 73 degrees, but start getting ready for the heat, not only this weekend, but next week. We're going to be checking in with Mike for all those details coming up.